All right, let's start with passage 2. As you can see here, it says, the following paragraphs may or may not be in the most logical order. Each paragraph is numbered in brackets, and question 29 will ask you to choose where paragraph 2 should most logically be placed. So, along with the little specific questions, like number 16 here, there's going to be a thing where you have to read the entire passage as a whole and determine where a paragraph should go. Okay, so it's called Ghost Signs. Paragraph 1 is, seeing remnants of outdoor advertisements from a bygone era, they're called ghost signs. Okay, let's look at seeing remnants. Either no change, seeing remnants of outdoor advertisements from a bygone era, they are called ghost signs. The sight of remnants of outdoor advertisements from a bygone era, they are called ghost signs. To see remnants of outdoor advertisements from a bygone era, they are called ghost signs. Remnants of outdoor advertisements from a bygone era. They are called ghost signs. Boy, I don't know. That one's tough. I search for them on city streets and town squares and along country roads. Some are weather-beaten billboards, others are faded murals painted years ago on the sides of old buildings. Whatever words remain, fruiterer, apothecary, gramophones, panhandle coffee, are often barely legible, pale fragments of yesterday's consumer culture. Should strike me as silly or sad. Okay, everything is written in like the present tense. I search for them. I would like, there are remnants of outdoor advertisements, but that's not an option. How about G? Let's look at, what's the answer? Best answer is J. J is remnants. Remnants of outdoor advertisements from a bygone era. They are called ghost signs. The best answer is J because the phrase remnants of outdoor advertisements from a bygone era functions as a positive, providing more information about the compound noun ghost sounds. This is an acceptable grammatical inversion of the construction. They are called ghost signs. Remnants of outdoor advertisements from a bygone era. Oh, okay. So if you took the second part of this sentence, they are called ghost signs, and put it at the beginning, then remnants would make more sense. That one was tough. Okay, outdoor advertisements from a bygone era, they are called ghost signs. So we have the word bygone here to tell us that the era is already past, right? It's bygone, it's gone by, it's gone. So era that is no more, era of another time, and era of times past are all redundant. They're saying the same thing a second time. And you don't need to say the same thing a second time, so I'm going to say it's no change. Okay, 17. Best answer is A, no change, because the bygone era in the sentence is sufficient to express the idea that ghost signs are remnants of outdoor advertisements from an earlier time. See, look, redundant. Redundant and redundant. Okay, oh, that's not it. Here we are. I search for them on city streets and town squares and along country roads. Some are weather-beaten billboards, others are faded murals painted years ago on the sides of old buildings. Whatever words remain, fruiterer, apothecary, gramophones, panhandle coffee, are often barely, oh, look at this, there's an M dash here. So just like that question from earlier that started with an M dash needs to end with an M dash, this one ends with 1, so it needs to start with 1. So look over here, no change. Remain, 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 and the only difference is the punctuation. Whatever words remain, dash. So that's going to be G. Number 18, best answer is G. Because of that balance. We need that balance. If there's one dash, there needs to be a second dash. Whatever words remain are often barely legible. Pale fragments of yesterday's consumer culture should strike me as silly or sad. Ooh. Here we go. That would work better. Pale fragments of yesterday's consumer culture that should strike me as silly or sad. They should strike me as silly or sad. Should they strike me as silly or sad? No, because of the construction of the sentence, I'd say it's that should. 19 is B. Yes. Because the relative pronoun that is required to logically and grammatically link the clause that follows to the rest of the sentence. Okay, it's not these because the word should results in an illogical, faulty connection. Because adding the word they makes the final clause independent, resulting in a run-on sentence. Because the phrase should they results in an illogical, faulty connection. Okay. After all, there they are, advertising products and businesses that no longer exist. Okay, and then the changes are all for punctuation. Products and businesses, comma. Products, comma, and businesses. Products, colon, businesses. That one's just silly. We can get rid of that one right away. Advertising products and businesses that no longer exist. I feel like that works already and doesn't need a change. So I'm going to say no change. 20 is F. There we go, 20 is F. Because no punctuation is necessary in order to connect compound direct object to the rest of the sentence. Yet they themselves survive without apology, with instead their simple claims and complex colors. The contrast draws me in every time. Okay. Yet they themselves survive without apology, with instead their simple claims and complex colors. So, I feel like it looks a little silly, but this amount of commas is actually necessary on B, because yet they themselves survive without apology, and then you're transitioning to with instead their simple claims and complex colors. But instead, as a word, is a standalone word that needs to be offset by commas, which it is right here, with a comma in front and a comma behind. So I'm going to say 21 is B. Good, because the word instead is an interrupting aside that needs to be set off by commas. The comma also needs to come before the word with to separate the extra prepositional phrase with instead their simple claims and complex colors from the main clause. I collect ghost signs. Not the signs themselves, but photos of them. Driving home from school one chilly October evening, my collection got its start. I had made the same drive countless times before, but I had never noticed the sign. Okay. So let's look at 22. 22 is this whole sentence. Driving home from school one chilly October evening, my collection got its start. Driving home from school one chilly October evening was the beginning of my collection. No, because driving wasn't the beginning of the collection. The photo was the beginning of the collection. Driving was just what got her there. I started my collection one chilly October evening driving home from school. That's possible. The start of my collection came to me driving home from school one chilly October evening. Again, that seems to reference the idea that driving is what started the collection, when the photo taking is what started the collection. So it's either no change or H. Driving home from school one chilly October evening, my collection got its start. I had made the same drive countless times before, but I had never noticed the sign. See, if we pick H, then the sentence ends with driving home from school, and the next sentence starts with I had made the same drive. So that I think that transitions better. It connects better. So I'm going to say H. 22 is H. Yay! 22 is H. Because this sentence is the most logical and grammatical choice, making it clear that the narrator started her collection one October as she was driving home from school. Then there it was, an ad for Joe's Cafe, perched atop a metal pole which was upright under a cape of kudzu vines. Which was upright. Given that all the choices are accurate, which one echoes a central point the writer makes about ghost signs? Okay. Then there it was, an ad for Joe's Cafe, perched atop a metal pole, which was not what interested me. No. Perched atop a metal pole, might have been wood. No. Which was disappearing under a cape of kudzu vines. Oh, there we go. Disappearing is better. Right? Because she's interested in... I'm assuming it's a woman writing this. Is there a reason I'm assuming that? Nope. I don't care. It's a woman writing it. Then there it was, an ad for Joe's Cafe. Okay, is she saying that what's interesting about it is that the signs are fading away, that they're going away, that they're forgotten? So if it's upright under a cape of kudzu vines, upright is kind of a positive thing, right? It's upright, it's standing up straight, it's powerful, it's strong. If it's disappearing under a cape of kudzu vines, then it's all but forgotten, and it's almost gone. So I'm going to say 23 is D. There we go. Best answer is D, because the idea that the ad for Joe's Cafe was disappearing echoes the point the narrator made earlier in the essay that ghost signs are barely legible, faded, and pale. Okay. Maybe it was the way that the setting sun's illumination of the yellow plastic. That's an awkward way to phrase that. Maybe it was the way the setting sun's illumination of the yellowing plastic. Maybe it was the way the illuminating setting sun on. Maybe it was the way the sun illuminated the set on. Maybe it was the way the setting sun illuminated the yellow plastic. There. That one sounds best. Setting sun illuminated. Maybe it was the way the setting sun illuminated the yellowing plastic. J. 24 is J. See, some of these it's just insert the options and see which one sounds best. Maybe it was the small hole, a clue to vandalism, or of a hailstorm. We can replace a clue to, because she's not investigating things. So a clue is for like an investigation, and it requires another clue to lead you down, you know, a path of clues. Instead, maybe it was the small hole, evidence of vandalism or of a hailstorm. And then also you've got this, the repeating of, evidence of vandalism or of a hailstorm. So that repeating of is parallelism. So I'm going to say it's B. 25 is B. Yes is the correct idiomatic phrase needed in order to make this sentence most understandable. Idiomatic is based on the word idiom, and that's like a saying. An idiom is the way we phrase things. So they're saying that that's a specific, not slang, but like the way the language works. Instead, something about the sign touched me. On the other hand, meanwhile, or something. I don't think we need that instead. Because instead means you're contradicting what came before it. So then there it was, an ad for Joe's Cafe, perched atop a metal pole which was upright under a cape of kudzu vines. Maybe it was the way the setting sun illuminated the yellowing plastic. Maybe it was the small hole, evidence of vandalism or of a hailstorm. Something about the sign touched me. See, that works best. Something about the sign touched me. So just J. 26 is J. Yeah, because no transitional word or phrase is necessary in order to connect the sentence to the ideas of the rest of the paragraph. Okay, so let's finish reading this and then we're going to switch over to the other tab. Something about the sign touched me. I pulled over. In the twilight, I got out of the car, snapped a picture with my phone, and sent it to some friends. I vowed to return with my camera to better capture the forlorn, luminous beauty of my discovery. Since that dusky evening, I have been happily haunted by ghost signs. Once in a while, I take a friend with me on my searches. People who know of my fascination will point me to where they think they have seen a ghost sign. Favorite finds include an ad for sliced bread, one for a modern motel, and yet another for fountain pen repair services. As fun as it is to have company, my best hunts have been solitude trips. Solitude is not the right version of that word. We need solitary. Have been solitary trips. Oh, that's not solitarily is what that word is. Solitaire is a card game. Solo trips. That'll work. As fun as it is to have company, my best hunts have been solo trips. So 27 is D. Given the context of the sentence, the adjective solo is the most logical and precise word to modify the noun trips. Okay, oh, go back here now. Okay, I appreciate the beauty of ghost signs more when I like the signs, when I, comma, like the signs, am alone. Which is H. 28, no change. No, 28, sorry, I read no change, but it's not. I appreciate the beauty of ghost signs more when I, like the signs, am alone. So the phrase like the signs is technically unnecessary. It's just there for flavor. So if you pulled that out, the sentence would still work. I appreciate the beauty of ghost signs more when I am alone. See how that still works? So taking that, if it can be taken out, that means it needs to be offset by commas. So you need a comma in front and a comma behind. Okay, 29 and 30 ask about the preceding passage as a whole. For the sake of logic and cohesion, paragraph 2 should be placed. Okay, so paragraph 1 is the introduction to the idea of what a ghost sign is. Paragraph 2, I collect ghost signs. Not the signs themselves, but photos of them. And then, look at this. I had made the same drive countless times before, but I had never noticed the sign. Then there it was. Because it transitions straight from I had never noticed the sign to then there it was, 2 has to go right here before 3. If you moved it anywhere else, that transition wouldn't make sense. So it's got to be where it is now. 29 is A. Yep, because the paragraph's current placement makes the most logical sense within the narrative. The narrator first introduces signs, describes generally how her collection began, describes the specific instance that first drew her to ghost signs, and then concludes the essay by describing her hunts generally. Okay, suppose the writer's primary purpose had been to describe starting and enjoying a new hobby. Would this essay accomplish that purpose? If their primary purpose had been to describe starting and enjoying a new hobby. Yeah, I think that's exactly what she did. Yes, because it presents the event that led to the narrator becoming interested in finding ghost signs and taking photographs of them. F makes some sense. Yes, because it describes the narrator's experience of learning from a friend where to find ghost signs and how much fun the search itself can be. That implies that they found the hobby from a friend, and that's not what happened. She found the hobby by herself. H, no, because it uses negative terms such as lonely and forlorn. It does not do that. No, because it instead describes 2 hobbies, photography and collecting ghost signs. It does not indicate which one gave the narrator more pleasure. No, she doesn't collect the actual signs, just the photos, so it's not J. So I gotta say it's F. 30 is F. Yes, because the essay describes the narrator's hobby of photographing ghost signs. And now our hobby got started after she saw the sign for Joe's Cafe. Okay, so that is it for passage 2. In the next video, we'll hit passage 3, which seems to be Blue Holes of the Bahamas. So for your assignment, what you're going to do is, oh, that's what elephants learned, is go back to the beginning of this passage, ghost signs, and just type it out. But instead of typing it exactly as it is, type it with the changes that come from the questions. So, for instance, instead of seeing remnants, you would just change it to remnants. Remnants of outdoor advertisements from a bygone era. They are called ghost signs. So, just type out the whole thing with all the appropriate changes, and that will be your assignment. And have a good day.